provide opportunities for safe failure, because your team really, if they're new, they're coming in, they're unfamiliar with the space, they're not going to get it right all the time. So be thinking of ways where they can test their skills or try new things and fail safely, have like that little cushion landing. And then you have the opportunity to teach and train and then practice again. And that's going to build trust for yourself. Like you're going to be able to know, okay, they can handle a little more. And they're going to build trust with you, knowing that you are, you see that they have skills and they're ready to enter the space, and you are, giving up something to them. That's a really big relational play.
Hey, welcome back to the Stupid Simple Marketing Podcast. My name is Bryan Fittin. I'm here with my awesome co-host, Brad Alexander.
What's up?
Hey, man.
Hey.
Good to have you back. We're back in the studio.
We're here.
And we have an amazing guest today, Miss Heather Applegate. How are you?
I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
Well, this is a long time coming.
Yes.
We've worked together in different capacities, and you've known Brad since college?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
We go back weirdly.
Just a few years.
Yeah.
Just 5 or 6 years or so back in college days.
Right. Yeah. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. That's what it feels like. Right. All right. Sorry. So, hey, we are so excited to be chatting with you today about building a creative team, or if you're a solo marketer or a marketer of a small team right now, we're going to really be talking about how to grow that team, maybe to make your first hire, because I know a lot of our audience is in that position. I've been in that position. So, but first, give us kind of the elevator pitch of who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Heather Applegate. I own a small company called PivotX Coaching. And so I coach business leaders and executives, and we cover topics from interpersonal relationships to process improvement and just making a team run smoothly, getting past those blocks that a lot of leaders face. And I work with small and medium-sized companies and leaders and teams.
It's awesome. But you've also been in the creative world.
I have.
Your previous life. Yeah.
My previous life has been built around brand building, marketing, and business administration across for-profit businesses and nonprofit also.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you should listen to what she says. Just throwing that out there. So.
That's why we brought her in instead of us trying to make this up and talk about it.
Right.
I love it.
So the people side of all that stuff, whether it's in a marketing team or just a business in general, is obviously exciting but messy.
Yeah.
Right. There's other people, there's other personalities at play, and so one of the reasons we wanted to have you come in today, one, because you deal with that with people, help leaders work through that stuff all the time. You have experience of building those teams in the past. And so for the people listening to this, again, most of folks, if you're listening to this, you probably are a solo marketer in a company, or you have a business and you're just the one responsible for it. There's not a marketing team of 10 or 12. It's like John and Karen, and that's it. And they also help with like customer service and like taking out the trash. Right. And so that's kind of who this team is. And so for somebody in that world, they're realizing, hey, we've grown, we've got a little bit of a budget. I'm tired of being the only one who does it all. I need to make another hire. And we're excited about to add to this marketing team because we know we're going to get momentum. It's going to help take load off and help us hopefully move faster. But with that, as you know, marketing has like 100 things that can be underneath that umbrella, right? Yeah. And if you're going to add a team member to that person, then the question I know that I would want to have answered to that if I'm that person is, okay, so who do I hire? Do I go hire a graphic designer? Do I hire a website person? Do I hire an ads person? Do I hire a copywriter? Do I hire somebody that can do all 9 of those things? Is it video? Is it, whatever it is. And so I start thinking about roles first. I don't know if that's right or not, but that's just where my head goes. And so if you were talking to somebody like myself or Bryan, who's in that seat, okay, what is the first thing we need to be thinking about to fill that position, to think through who's who I'm going to go after and hire?
Yeah. The fun thing about the creative industry is there are so many contractors. And so you can pick and choose who you bring in full-time versus who you contract with, or versus who you just, do a simple project rather than routine contracting. Right. So it makes it fun. It also makes it challenging to say who's actually going to fill this seat when I build my team out. But what you really need to look at is what are your own gaps? You need to understand yourself, understand your strengths. In your role as a sole marketer, maybe your primary objective is selling services right now. Maybe your primary objective is creating the projects themselves and making sure the project flow goes smoothly. And so you need someone to execute in those graphic design, video creation, website creation. So I would say it's going to be a couple of things. it's probably not going to be the web designer unless that's your business and you need a developer to be in that one seat. It's maybe not going to be a photographer as that comes in and out. It depends. So know what you're lacking in terms of what your strengths are and what you provide in your role versus where you lack the energy to move through those tasks. So if you are a galvanizer, I'm going to use working genius terms. If you're a galvanizer and you love getting people excited about something, you love selling something, that's where you get your energy. But maybe your energy does not come through pushing projects to the very end of the line.
Right.
You need to find someone who can fill that gap and push those projects to the end of the line. Because if you're standing there trying to sell the projects, organize the projects, pull people in, push it to the end of the line, like you're going to stretch yourself so thin and you're going to feel so burned out that that's probably what you're doing right now.
Sure.
And that's why you need help.
Yeah.
So figure out where your sweet spot is and then fill the gap that's really draining your energy. And if you don't know what that is, what that drain is, Working Genius is a great tool to use as an assessment to say like, I am a galvanizer or I am an ideator and I need someone with tenacity.
Yeah.
That's a good place to start.
You said something very interesting about the energy levels. And that's, I think like I time block, and we've talked about this a couple times just randomly with our team, but I haven't ever looked at like where I put my energy. And so for me, being able to understand, I have creative energy. I also can do some admin stuff, but the admin side drains my energy very quickly.
Yes.
And so having somebody to jump into that seat for me and just send the email, get the thing scheduled, whatever it is, that actually has helped me more. And it energizes me on the other side to go do the creative stuff and do more of the actual work itself. But the details just completely kill me.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. The first time that I worked through the Working Genius exercise, I was in a role that required a lot of tenacity and just life in general required a lot of tenacity at the time. So I identified myself as a person with tenacity and like, in necessity, I am. Yeah. And like, I'll get so stressed out about reaching a deadline that yes, like I'm going to pull people in, we're going to meet the deadline, but it just drains me. And to remember every single point of every single agenda item, like that's not where my energy lives. And I have a lot more fun creating things, ideating, like, you know, building rather than pushing. So that's been really helpful for me.
Yeah. A way that I've heard it, not the Working Genius, but even realizing the potential roles to fill and how you fit into it.
Yeah.
And so that you can hire, it sounds like you're saying kind of fill your weaknesses as opposed to your strengths, right? And I think it's Dave Gerhardt with Exit 5. If you don't know him, he's a very like business to business marketer guy. But his quip on it is basically you need like a promoter, you need like a math person, and you need probably some kind of designer. Like, because you just kind of have stuff you're laying out, designing, whatever that means, you know, PDFs, documents, just stuff that's internal, external.
Yeah.
Somebody who enjoys spreadsheets, sees processes, gets mad when things aren't done. And then somebody who just like, I want to go talk about it. I want to either be the face or be the one that's getting us out there. We got to tell people. Yeah. And he's like, some people are maybe a combo of those, but very rarely is anybody all three.
Right.
And you probably have one that's like, this is what we need. And I'm not that. And so of an initial just assessment, but that can fit into whatever the roles are on your, because if you're a construction company, you don't need a full-time videographer, probably a web guy, right? But if you are a web development company, you might need that, right? And so, totally get it.
I like that you mentioned the math piece because I think in a creative industry, we can get pulled into the creative people. We need the designers, the photographers and all that, but we need to be tracking our metrics and making sure that what we're building is effective. So those math people, those process people, just to make sure everybody shows up on time and knows what they're doing are so important. Also.
God love us, all of us who.
I keep getting hit with the QuickBooks, like you landed a big design contract, but you're not a finance person. And I was like, stop it, QuickBooks. I know that. It's like, yes.
Why are you reading my mail? Right.
They also, it's like, it's not as easy as you make it seem, QuickBooks. Like you still have to get into the books and that's still not fun as a creative. So yes, you do need those people. So, so we talk about like, well, I feel like we're throwing out all kinds of things too with like elevate and delegate within the EOS. Like I think EOS side of things and your visionary and integrator. Usually if you're the one doing all the things and leading the teams, you probably are needing an assistant or somebody who is in the details, right? But
Mm-hmm.
how do you just hire the first person you go after? Is it just like, oh, hey, yeah, you can open up Excel.
You please now.
Yeah. Hey, you know how to work a calendar.
You're friendly.
Yeah.
You showed up.
You answered my phone call.
Right.
You're hired.
You're right.
Is that the proper way to kind of vet people?
I really like the idea of hire slow, fire fast. I don't like firing. But
part ways quickly.
Yeah, but hire slow
Yes.
is the point.
Yeah.
So take your time. There have been times when I've met people and just been able to tell in them, you can see, hey, you are exactly the right fit for what I need.
Yeah.
And so, move forward with that. But ask insightful questions, ask behavioral questions, get to understand what motivates them, what pushes them towards success, how, are they just saying they're meticulous or are they meticulous? Ask a lot of deeper questions. Tell me about a time when, give me an example of when. And so I usually like to do that when I'm interviewing, of saying okay, this or that, would you choose A or B? Okay, you choose B. Tell me an example of when that happened and how that worked out.
Yeah.
And don't forget to ask questions that are hard. Ask about failures. Ask about missed opportunities. Ask about, just things about that will challenge them to be vulnerable and pull out, some weaknesses that they have.
Yeah.
I think it's important for all growing professionals to understand their weaknesses and be able to own up to them, because when you are building a team, you need people who can say oh, that didn't work, and be open to feedback and be open to change.
Yeah. Yeah. So my greatest weakness is that I care too much.
Yeah. I'm too much of a
work too hard.
perfectionist.
I work too hard.
I'm such a perfectionist. Those
Yeah.
are good. Those
Yeah.
are good. Now, I think that is good, especially one, caring about people.
Mhm.
I have in my mastermind group, a guy had actually, it's kind of a second in command, and he was stressed out because he was going through a lot. And he said, he basically was like, I'm going to go to him because I know he wants equity in the company and give him this option. Well, he went and had that conversation. The guy was like, I don't want to do that. I just want to be an employee.
Yeah.
And basically they figured out a way for him to exit the business and go to another company. It started the conversation talking about motivation. He thought, oh, this guy really wants to be a business owner. And the guy was like, that's not what I want. I want to be second in command. I don't want to be the top guy. And so it was a very interesting conversation about motivation, because I've done that in the past. I'm like, I know that they want these things. And sometimes you just ask them.
Yes.
And they're like, nope, I'm really happy where I am.
Yeah.
Doing what I'm doing. I want to keep getting better. But
too bad he couldn't keep him in that seat doing what he wanted to do at the level he was. I think
there was some of those changes that were happening, but he immediately was like, well, I know this is why we're not doing well, because he wants this higher position. And I was like, no, that's not what I want. And so anyway, all that to say, I think it's great to just have a one-on-one conversation about the motivations while you're doing the hiring process. And also too, if you're looking to part ways, maybe it's just an open, is this working?
Yeah.
How can we motivate you to take that next step? What are the things that you want out of this job?
Well, do you think too, what's your take on having somebody do some sort of, I don't know, practice project? I don't know what it is, something if, especially in the marketing world, if it's, I need somebody that can design, I need quickly or whatever. I need somebody that can write. I need somebody that can map this out. I don't get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Stuff
totally.
that's not taking, I know some companies I want to basically getting them to do really free work and use it. I mean, I've heard bad stories about that, but I mean, what is reasonable for you to try to do as a person hiring?
Yeah.
And then maybe if somebody's listening to this, that's reasonable to be asked. Because on the flip side, marketers are creative people, and I feel like we can be, well, I'm an artist and somebody should pay me for everything I always do, no matter what it is. And I don't know what's the right and wrong on that. It's well, we'll give you $50. We want you to do this. Or is it no, you should just pony up and do it for free. You get what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with that? Because you have to assess,
can you do the work?
You have a resume. I don't know how long it took you to make that graphic. It could have taken you 5 weeks, and we need it done in 2 hours.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
Totally.
And so what are some ideas on that, or things that you would do in that process?
Something that's worked in the past is bringing on interns. When you have the ability to bring on someone that's younger, putting them, especially designers, this worked really well, is bring them on as interns, have them kind of shadow and get into the flow of things. So then they start understanding your systems. You understand their processes and their flow and their timetables. And that's just a really good low stakes way to get the help you need and understand them, so then you can elevate them.
Okay.
And there are so many times of those interns that moved into higher and higher and higher positions. I'm thinking of 2 people right now. One has been with the company for 4 years. The other one has been with the company for 2 or 3. So, it just gelled and it worked. And that's how everybody knew. If you're not bringing in someone that's green and, is coming in at an intern level, then I would say be upfront about that part of the process when you start the interview process.
Don't surprise with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just say, hey, part of this interview process is we want to see how you work and we're going to throw you a project to complete. And that'll weed somebody out really quickly if they're not interested. Don't make it a huge, overwhelming 40-hour kind of project, but, make it concise enough that's representative of the type of work you do quickly so that they can move in and out of it and don't feel taken advantage of.
Yeah. Makes sense. Especially for us on the video side, we've thrown projects out there, but it is paid, as well if it is one of those, because video does take a lot of time.
Yeah. And that's a good option too. Like pay for that specific job, hire them on a project basis and then move forward.
Yeah.
But they know it's part of their interview process, possibly, but hey, we're going to pay you for this project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's good.
So let's say you hire the person where you have 2 people, you've gone from 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, whatever it is. And, it's that kind of first 6 months to a year with them. What are some things that I, as now the person who's hired those people, that I need to pay attention to? 1, so I don't lose this great person I feel like I just hired. 2, to make sure that I'm leveraging that team the best I can and getting the most out of it instead of just paying people to do, and I keep doing everything, that's a tendency, I'm sure, or just to make it be as healthy and strong as it can be. What are some tips or...
Oh, this is the fun stuff. This is the really fun part. We were talking about motivations earlier and skill sets. And when you do an interview process, you start to understand where people's interests lie. But they're applying for one very specific position, so you've got them in there. So what I really love is that first year, getting to know them and understand their personality a little bit better. And are they super analytical? Are they someone who comes into a creative role, but they actually have a knack for the more analytical side of things? Then you can say okay, is this right? Or do we need to move around here? Not only to fill a gap that we need, but give you more ownership and more development in your career that gives you a broader skill set to work with. That was one of my favorites of somebody I worked with a few years ago. And he came in a really creative writing role, but it turned out he was super analytical. And so he started to move into the SEO generation or SEO research space and had a huge knack for it and just built the whole system. And so that was a huge success and a lot of fun. Another thing is understanding what motivates them in terms of title, salary, and try to see if you can work within those things, because not everyone is the same. Not everyone just wants to be elevated, promoted. Some people really love to be an employee at a certain level and just feel comfort and strength there. Other people want to rise and direct and lead. And so knowing that as you enter them and as they move along is super helpful.
How would you go about if somebody was, let's say, maybe said that they wanted those things and then you put them into that position, actually invest in them in leadership. And then all of a sudden they're like, I actually don't want this. How do you gracefully walk that back? Or maybe somebody who's even, like you said, designer wise, oh yeah, I totally got this. Yeah. And then you realize, or they realize, that was a little bit more work than what I thought. So how do you maybe pivot in those? I'm going to go back to Pivot X, right?
Yeah.
How do you pivot?
Yeah, thanks.
In that moment. With a creative that maybe is on your team, or maybe an intern or somebody that's kind of coming out of the gate that maybe bites off a little more than they can chew.
Yeah. That one thing is going back to the hire slow. Be really careful about putting them in at the right speed, at the right role, at the right level. And then the other thing is if they're entering the role and it's not working like you thought it was going to work.
Yeah.
Just keep that open line of communication open. And where do you need support? Where are you feeling like you're struggling or stuck? And how can we either implement a system or a tool or open our lines of communication to get you the support that you need to do your role well? And I would always start there before walking them back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's good. I think everybody should, back in my corporate days, is somebody shouldn't be surprised that they're getting let go. Like it shouldn't be a shock. It should be like, hey, we walked this plan for a while, and now we've reached this point. You agree, right?
Yes.
This is not working out, and here's all the things you've done, all the things we've done. Like we've all tried, and now we're not there. So
nothing worse than being blindsided. Nothing worse than being blindsided. Yeah, absolutely. Something else I was thinking about in that first 6 months or a year, when you are a sole marketer or you are on a small team where you're very much in control, it is hard to bring other people into that environment. And
control's the best, Heather.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do it my way and it gets done. But bringing in people into that can be threatening to your own role, and it can be threatening to the results that you have been able to consistently deliver. And so my encouragement to people in that space is just to work on letting go a little bit more. Let go of the vine. Have you heard that, Lindsay?
Yeah.
So let go of the vine and provide opportunities for safe failure, because your team really, if they're new, they're coming in, they're unfamiliar with the space, they're not going to get it right all the time. So be thinking of ways where they can test their skills or try new things and fail safely, have like that little cushion landing. And then you have the opportunity to teach and train and then practice again. So, be ready. And that's going to build trust for yourself. Like you're going to be able to know, okay, they can handle a little more. And they're going to build trust with you, knowing that you are, you see that they have skills and they're ready to enter the space, and you are, giving up something to them. That's a really big relational play.
Yeah. I have, one of my first hires, she's now my project manager, but she just kind of came on as an admin at first, but then had the chops to be able to just manage all the things behind the scenes to keep things moving.
Yeah.
But with a lot of client work that we do, there'll be just judgment calls. And I would say low bar judgment calls. It's like this picture or that picture, that kind of stuff. Or we have 3 things designed, or the options, this one, or this one. Right. And very early on, she kept being like, hey, which one do you think? Which one do you think? Which one do you think? And eventually I had to tell her, I was like, hey, listen, once I kind of trusted where she was going with stuff, I saw that she had a good eye, and I was like, I don't want you to ask me this anymore. And I kind of teased her. I was like, every time you do, I'm literally going to reply back, I trust your judgment. I'm not going to look at it.
Yeah.
And I said, here's the deal. If a client doesn't like it, I'm going to take the blame. So you don't need to worry about me blaming you for anything. I'm going to cover it. Oh man, that was my call. I'm sorry. We should have done better. Like I will never put you under the bus.
Yeah.
If it's something I gave you freedom to make the decision on, and somebody comes back and they're mad about it. And even still, like every 4 or 5 months, hey, Brad, what? And I won't even look at it. I trust your judgment. She's like, dang it. Okay. Because she wants the validation,
sure,
which is natural. I'm kind of nervous about making the decision, but and for me, that was hard for me to do at first. Cause like you said, control, like the joke around people that I know is like, Brad loves you and he has a wonderful plan for your life. And he wants everything to work how he thinks it should go.
Yeah.
But it over time, if you're that person, I'm in that seat where it's like, okay, I'm not like worried about all these things in the background. I don't know how it's going to play out. It ends up being free. And both of us in our roles that we have can do more and do it better than we could before. Yeah. But letting go of that vine is hard.
Some of the best advice that I got as I was moving up into management was focus on the things that only you can do. Because you are bringing in people to support in other ways, like to make those calls and to add things or manage projects or whatever. And so even if you've been doing those things for years and you're really great and lots of knowledge, let them do the things that they can do so you can do the things that only you can do.
Yeah. You talked about a safe place to fail. With a lot of our contractors that we bring in, our team members, we have them work on our own marketing or our own internal things. So if it's a video for our social media or something like that, that way it's like, hey, we can go through multiple rounds of revisions. We can talk through this. We can figure this out before we actually put them on any kind of client work. Yeah. Because I learned that early on. Don't bring in somebody fresh and new, throw them right into client work. Because that's overwhelming for them and for you as
Right.
as a team lead or manager too. So
Mhm.
No pressure. Don't drop this.
yeah.
Yeah.
First day.
Yeah.
That's real bad. So as we kind of wrap up too, what is your best advice for that solo marketer, maybe business owner, creative team lead? What's your best advice for finding and maintaining, maybe even keeping the right people?
Mm-hmm.
Besides the advice you've already given.
Besides
we want
everything
something
I've already
more.
said,
Yes. Right.
Building relationships on
Yeah.
a team, figuring out what your team culture needs to be. Also, how do you as a leader contribute best to a team? Are you the kind of leader that is like, hey, we are a results-driven, performance-driven team, excellence-focused only? If you are that kind of person, then you need to hire people that agree with that philosophy, or you're going to be grinding.
Yeah.
I am a relational person. So when I build my teams, I build them based on how can we collaborate together? Are we good communicators together? Can we build trust together? So that's the culture that I want to build on my team, where we have fun and we we had probably too much fun and had played a lot of games. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that I think about as I'm building a team. If you want to retain them, focus on their strengths, get feedback regularly, and build the culture you want to build. And more to the feedback point, you need to be specific, especially around Gen Z. If you're hiring Gen Z right now, they're looking for precise, specific feedback, not a fluff pat on the back, you're doing great, or vague, I think you need to work on your communication. No, let's make a plan and let's outline it and say, okay, these areas are going really well, so let's keep doing these. These specific areas we're having some problems with. And so how can we create metrics, create a plan, and see improvement that we're all happy with?
Yeah.
When people know where they're going and they have clarity on what expectations need to be met, then they know there's a game plan. They know what to go for, and so you can be aligned in that direction. That's going to keep them focused. That's going to keep you happy. Everybody's aligned in knowing where we're going, and then just keeping those relationships maintained is super key.
I love it.
I feel all convicted now. So I got all these things I got to go do. I'm like a mental checklist here.
Thanks for coming to tell Bryan how to be better. I appreciate that. Yes, that's why we're here.
Colin appreciates that.
That's
all
right.
The team behind.
Yeah.
You
He's
got a
got the thumbs up from the producer back there. Hey, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. And he and I can easily talk through the tactical small things to do, or here's a simple thing to do next. And even as we have teams that we grow, coming at it from that angle in a marketing team is not something that I don't think either of us could be like, oh, here's obviously what you should do, how to do that healthy. We just have either learned or stumbled into it. And so thanks for being very specific on some of that stuff. And
you bet.
I mean, things I hear are you got to know yourself, know your strengths and weaknesses. There's assessments for that. You mentioned the working genius and other things like that as well. That whole aspect of hiring slow, just really baking in the right time for that and doing that well. I mean, we all need help tomorrow or yesterday, but we have to be patient it's a lot of money to invest in that. So that's a smart word right there. And then just all the various ways of letting go of control, giving feedback, listening to that. I mean, that's huge. So if you're listening to this, and you are going from a team of 1 to 2 or a team of 3 to 5, whatever it is, put this up, reevaluate how you've been doing it and put it into play. And then if they need help from somebody like yourself, do you do this with people that aren't local?
Yeah, I do.
Help coach you this stuff? Okay. How do they find you? Where do they go to do that?
Yep. They can go to thepivotx.com. It's thepivotx.com. So that can be confusing. Also on Instagram, it's the.pivotx.
Okay.
I'm on LinkedIn, Heather Applegate, also PivotX. So they can find me and connect any of those ways.
Okay. Awesome.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
We really do appreciate it. And if you have any feedback, want to connect with Heather, or also share this episode with a friend, give us a review. We would really, really appreciate that, especially if it's helping you in your business. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.